Barcelona books themselves to the semi-final of the Copa del Rey after beating Albacete 2-1 away. Same team that defeated Real Madrid a few weekends ago in a embarrassing fashion for the top club Real Madrid. They come into this quarterfinal. Huge for Albacete, being a third division team in Spain, being this far in the competition. It's amazing for them, great for the team, great for the fans, and playing against arguably the two biggest clubs in the world back to back in this competition. You couldn't ask for any better. Yes, you lost. Yes, you put your heart out, but you couldn't ask for any better. They nearly got a last minute goal at the end, scored an offside goal as well, but and then you have Barcelona. Obviously, people expect a higher result because Barcelona are the better team than Real Madrid and Albacete, so you expect huge. But Barcelona in the first half pretty comfortably had control of the game, and then towards the final 10-15 minutes, Albacete was going at it, trying to get that goal. They eventually got it. Eventually got an offside one as well, and then almost but Martin, a player for me who has progressed as one of Barca's new underrated players from the academy. He was clowned. I remember a season and a half ago, clowned, and he built him back up. Now he's a regular player, known in the squad. Another player is like Eric Garcia, also similar to, not playing style, but the growth and just getting the backing of the fans after poor games that they had early on in their Barcelona career, and people weren't fans of them. Now they're sort of players you rely on and players that you can count on when they're in the game. Starting lineup, pretty much expected. The Lamine, Lewandowski, Rashford, Dani Olmo, Ferran Torres benched this game. Bruno getting minutes here in the Copa del Rey. De Jong, who for me has been great recently for Barcelona. Then you have Joao Cancelo, new signing. And you have Aruajo, Eric Garcia, and then of course Martin and Joan Garcia in goal. Here in the Albacete, I didn't expect them to, do a huge upset like they did against Real Madrid. You can obviously, Barcelona are they play different than Real, so you didn't really expect that. But for this Barca team, I think one thing they lack is they can create so many chances, but just not get more goals. They can, every match they play, they 100% can get 5 goals. But it's just their finishing in a way. They can get to the final third, get it to the box, and then people want to say Ferran Torres, which could be one of the options or one of the players you can blame, but that doesn't finish the job. He's a great player, don't get me wrong. Barcelona's top scorer, but he really underrated, but also misses chances here and there most of the times. And then of course in the bench you have both teams using their 5 substitutions. Kubarsi, Fermin Lopez, who's been Barcelona gem this season, I would say. And then Marcasado, Ferran Torres, who scored an offside goal today. And then Jules Koundé. Aruajo scoring out of anyone. Of course, it's Aruajo. Back after that whole trip that he had a mental break. And then coming back into the squad, starting 11, the captain, the man. So, that's great to see there. And for the Copa del Rey, the next match is here. Alaves are going against Real Sociedad tomorrow. Same with Valencia and Athletic Bilbao. As a Barca fan, I think the only team you should be worried is, I'm not going to even say Atletico. I think a team you should be worried about is if Betis goes through. I think I'm pretty sure Barcelona dominated them 4-1 earlier, but I just think that Barcelona struggle more on teams, on slower end teams. So if they go against, people will say, oh, I'd rather face Real Madrid than a Rayo, for an instance, because they play better against them. Or for Barca's fact, they play worse to a team like that than a Real Madrid. So, Barcelona's team, they may struggle. You never know. It could be a Valencia or an Alaves. But you see Atletico Madrid, they look pretty comfortably pretty much every time they play against them. And of course, Real Madrid being out the competition there. And Betis Atletico kind of sucks that they're versing in the quarterfinals, because Betis have a great team. They have good players. They're doing pretty decent in this La Liga season. And it's a shame that it's arguably 2 out of the 3 top teams, at least one of them is going to get out in the quarterfinal stage. And because you have Real Sociedad, who's been underperforming, Bilbao, who also been underperforming in La Liga. So, and it is a shame. So, but that pretty much sums up what happened today. Riquelme is 5th, or 5 goals. I didn't even know that. But then now we can see Barcelona's next match is here. They have a Champions League break. They're not gonna be playing on the weekends because they made a top 8 out of the embarrassing result for Real Madrid. Next game is Mallorca, Girona, Levante, Villarreal, and Athletic Bilbao, Sevilla, and Rayo. So they should pretty much win all these games. They've been in an unbeaten streak since Slavia Prague, but even before that, they just been winning, scoring. So yeah, because after that Chelsea game, they had what 11-game win streak or 8? I think it might have been 11, and then that 2-1 loss to Sociedad a few weeks ago, and then just been winning ever since. They don't really draw. You don't really see Barcelona draw matches. So they're probably gonna win every single one of these games here. Only one I can see them struggle is against Rayo, but it's at home, so it's gonna be easier than they do when they play against them away. But yeah, great result for Barca.